moves back up again. We'll watch it. Robert, thank you for the news.
Thank you, Robert. Now, the White House apparently raising concerns with the auto loan package in Congress, threatening to delay action.
You're probably asking yourself, does a loan package from Washington really address the root causes of what's hampering the auto industry? AutoNation CEO Mike Jackson has been in Washington all day pushing for help. He joins us now exclusively here on Fox Business. Mike, thank you for being here.
Liz, good afternoon.
All right,
Pleasure
we're
to see
waiting
you.
for Nancy Pelosi here to come up to the podium, but we're hearing all kinds of word that the White House doesn't like the first plan they've gotten. What do you think is in it, and what don't they like?
Well, I think controversy is to be expected anytime you come to Washington for help, particularly during a lame duck session. So this is politically very difficult to get something done under these time constraints in a lame duck session.
But
my belief is it'll be ugly.
Yeah.
Something will get done, and it'll probably be a bridge to a bridge, if you will. Some sort of funding, let's say $15 billion, to get the whole issue into the first quarter of next year and the 111th Congress.
You know, sir, it's so great to see you. You're such a powerful voice in the auto industry. What do you think would sell the White House on a bailout package? What exactly does the White House want to see?
Well, the irony of the White House and the administration and Treasury is always talking about viability. The viability of the industry has been called into question with the collapse of the credit markets on September 15th. From one day to the next, we went from a recessionary environment to a depression. An incremental decline of 25% from one day to the next, taking the annual selling rate of our industry now down to 10 million units, which if you put on a per capita basis, you have to go back to the Second World War. We had an approval rate of prime customers of 95% on September 13th, and by the time we woke up on September 15th, that was cut back to 60%. So they're killing, the lack of credit is killing the volume of this industry. The bailout has not worked as far as the normalization of credit. There's horror stories around credit for every type of business you can name. And so the viability issue, ironically, is clearly in the court of Treasury. You tell me when we'll have normal credit, and I tell you the viability question will move away from our industry.
You're probably right on that, but there's so much resentment as this debate continues about whether to help the automakers, about the auto employees themselves. We just had a debate over in the 2 p.m. hour where it was, oh, they make $70 an hour, and the other side was saying, no, they don't. It's more like $28 an hour. What's the real charge per auto worker per hour? Do you know what they make? Because people are saying that model has to come down. Others are saying it's already down.
So if you're talking a union worker for one of the Detroit three, all in, including health care, pension, and holidays and everything else, it comes out to around $70 an hour versus a transplant in the South, which is around $40, $45 an hour. Now, there was a transformational labor agreement less than a year ago that over the next several years will migrate the union workers to the same as the transplant workers. The debate is, though, considering the circumstances, does that need to be brought forward, that we can't wait till 2012 for everything to be phased in? And I think that's a fair assessment, and I think the union has said that they're open to discussions and reopening that contract and changing the timeline to the greatest extent possible.
Sir, one of the senators said, we didn't expect, this, we didn't want the CEOs showing up of the automakers in a Wells Fargo armored truck to get whatever demand they wanted fulfilled without any serious thought to restructuring. We may see some action right now at the podium. We may need to cut in, but quickly, how can they restructure via a Chapter 11? We're not talking liquidation. Could they go through a Chapter 11 and save jobs?
Well, at least the CEOs showed up. I mean, the financial service sector just has to phone in. So the CEOs came here, and they certainly have put a comprehensive plan on the place. And by the way, I agree, when you come to Congress or you come to the U.S. government for aid in circumstances like this, you better expect tough requirements, milestones, and yes, I agree, there should be some authority, federal authority, either a board or a CARSAR or a court master, you pick the name, that really holds the industry's feet to the fire and uses this as an opportunity to really get its cost structure down to another whole level. So all that I agree with. Bankruptcy is not an option for the automobile industry. Your revenue collapses. Consumers will not buy a vehicle from a bankrupt car company because they have their investors hat on. They have a contingent liability and a $30,000 product, and they're not going to buy it from a bankrupt company.
Mike, we believe that Nancy Pelosi is about to approach, so let's listen in.
I would never want to stand in the way of Nancy Pelosi.
Well,
good seeing you all today.
Thank you, Mike. Let's listen in.
Getting to be evening.